So welcome back, and here we are for my predictions for Group E and Group F, the third video in the series for the 2018 FIFA World Cup. I'll be telling you who I think will go through in Group E and Group F. If you have any comments or disagreements, queries or otherwise, things I've left out, please feel free to put them in the comments. Some of my comments may be controversial. I'm not intending to offend anyone. Alright, so here we go. We'll start straight away with Group E. In Group E, I'm calling the group of Brazil. Very, very clear, very simple group. Brazil will be licking their lips at the lineup they're facing here. Serbia, Costa Rica and Switzerland. Absolutely wonderful side from top to bottom. They topped their group in South American qualifying at a canter. Absolutely no problems there. Blessed with attacking talent, wonderful defence right through the side, not just from the defenders but on the counter from the attackers and midfielders as well. The key thing for Brazil here is redemption. They got thrashed 7-1 in the semi-finals at the last World Cup at the hands of Germany. They will want some revenge for that. And unlike in that semi-final when Neymar wasn't playing, he is fully fit. He's back. Neymar is fit and he's scoring. That is something that's very important for Brazil. Not only that, but Neymar's not so much alone as he was 4 years ago. He has with him a very accomplished playing group. Gabriel Jesus, Manchester City, Philippe Coutinho, Barcelona, ex-Liverpool, Paulinho, Willian. Absolutely fantastic lineup from top to bottom. Some doubts over the defence. Alves may be out, Danilo in. Doesn't matter. You're calling on a premiership winning Manchester City defender as a replacement in the event of injury. You know you're doing pretty well. Brazil's tactics, very good going forward. They have set up to prevent the counter, not only to actually perform a counter, but to prevent it with the unfortunate tactic of the tactical foul, which involves deliberately fouling a player who starts a counter. I don't think it's necessary. I don't particularly agree with it. They're probably going to start with 3 holding midfielders, certainly against the big boys, perhaps against Switzerland in the first group game. May or may not be necessary. Luis Felipe Scolari introduced this policy into the side back in 2012. Slightly anti-football, but very, very, very effective. And I see no problems for Brazil in this particular group. I think that tactic may come unstuck later in the tournament. Teams that have a direct approach, that play the incisive pass, the likes of Belgium, Denmark, if they get that far, may cause Brazil some problems. Spain with their tiki-taka pose no threat at all to Brazil in their current setup. So Brazil to top the group going through. There are other teams, however, in this group, and they'll be battling it out for second spot, starting with Switzerland. And Switzerland, one word for the Swiss side going into this tournament, and that is frustrating. Frustrating. That's the word for Switzerland. Most pundits tipping Switzerland to finish second in the group. The top European side, ahead of Serbia, probably going in terms of rankings. Most people tipping Switzerland to finish second. 2 key players, we've got Granit Xhaka, the Arsenal midfielder, and Xherdan Shaqiri from Stoke. Brilliant players on their day. Shaqiri can score a goal from anywhere on the field, outside the box. Probably scored more goals from outside the box than most other players in the Premier League last term. However, Shaqiri's problem is for every goal he scores, he puts 3 more into row Z. Granit Xhaka gives the ball away as much as he takes it back. I think he'll be as frustrating for Switzerland as he was for Arsenal. I have my doubts about Switzerland, to be honest with you. They edged past Northern Ireland with a dodgy penalty in the last playoff, and they got smashed by Portugal. They won 9 out of 10 of their qualifying games, but going into it, I just wonder if they have the right momentum and form, and whether they can do it at this level on a World Cup stage. Remains to be seen. They beat Spain in the 2010 World Cup 1-0 in the group stages. They could pull off a shock again. And imagine beating Brazil in the first group game. It may happen, so they can't be written off, and good luck to them. Good luck to Switzerland. Costa Rica, Cinderella story, last World Cup. They made the quarterfinals, and they're back again. And not just back as a team, but most of the players from 2014 are back as well. 7 of the starting 11 from their quarterfinal in 2014 may well play in their opening match in 2018. Led from the front by Brian Ruiz, the ex-Fulham midfielder. They're going to be very solid defensively. They know each other so well. They defend well as a group. They have a defensive pattern. They're going to rely on the counter and going forward, but the question is, how well can they counter with the age in their legs? Experience comes at a cost, and that is pace. And I think Costa Rica may have some problems, but they can't be written off considering how well they did 4 years ago. So it'll be very interesting. I think the match against Brazil will be an opportunity for Costa Rica. We'll see how they go. And it will be very interesting to see if they can progress. Now, looking forward, the other team in the group, Serbia, and not just any other team. I think Serbia are very, very strong, vastly underrated. Very few pundits tipping Serbia to go through. They've somewhat flown under the radar in qualifying and even entering the World Cup. They topped their group from Ireland and Austria. They haven't been mentioned anywhere, not just to go deep in the tournament, but even to get out of the group. A lot of pundits tipping them to finish 4th, 3rd, but they're looking pretty good. They've got Branislav Ivanovic leading the line in defence, Nemanja Matic, Kolarov, ex-Man City, Milivojevic, the Crystal Palace, proven goalscorer, fantastic form at the moment, Milinkovic-Savic from Lazio. Lots of players in form. Dusan Tadic, Southampton, across the park in all positions. They've got some very nice shape. Unproven manager at this level, unproven manager at any level. Some doubts over the formation not play. But I just have a feeling that they will come together and perform very well in the tournament. So let's see. So in the wash for this group, Group E, I'm going for Brazil to top the group, followed by Serbia, somewhat of a surprise pick, number 2. Costa Rica, unlucky, number 3. I think can't be written off, but probably number 3. Switzerland, a disappointment at number 4. Controversial pick, it may come back to bite me. That's the way I see it at the moment. So, in the wash-up, E1, Brazil, and E2, Serbia. They will play F2 and F1 respectively. We'll find out who they are in just a moment. So, going straight on to Group F. I'm calling Group F the Group of Death. Normally, looking at the lineups, all the teams, I think Group H would have been the Group of Death. However, I've got a different name for Group H, and you'll find that out if you watch that video. So I'm calling Group F the Group of Death. We've got some good teams, and only 2 of these can go through. So Group F, the Group of Death. Starting with Germany, and Germany are often the starting point for any World Cup discussion, often the first team mentioned in any review. Going into this World Cup, it's a bit different. It's a bit different to previous World Cups. They're the bookmakers' favourites. However, their form going in to this tournament could best be described as scratchy. That's Germany at the moment, scratchy. In fact, Lionel Messi said that Germany lacked star power, lacks superstars. Exactly what Diego Maradona said 8 years ago before Germany beat Argentina 4-0. So it could bode well for Germany's chances to have an Argentinian superstar refer to them as lacking star power. However, looking at the results, 2-1 loss to Austria, 1-0 to Brazil, albeit with a second string lineup, a 2-1 win over Saudi Arabia, which could well have been 2-2. Saudi Arabia were on the attack. It was a close game. Germany beat Saudi Arabia 2-1. Going into the 2002 World Cup, they were similarly scratchy and they ended up being finalists. It's a similar situation. Germany could well do the same thing and go into the final. The difference is in 2002 the pundits were writing them off. This time they're still talking them up. We'll see what happens. Thomas Müller, 10 goals going into it. If he gets 7, he'll be the top goal scorer in World Cup history. So that will be a big motivator. Mesut Ozil, I think, is a key. If he can get that ball forward and distribute the board, get the incisive passes through, Germany are going to be very hard to beat, and they're going to penetrate the big boys when they come across some of those sides later on. Germany can never be written off. Defending champions, they'll be very strong. I think they'll have too much in this particular group. However, it's a group of death. The second spot is up for grabs, well up for grabs. Starting with Sweden. Now, Sweden eliminated Italy. Italy missing out in the World Cup spot for the first time since 1958. Sweden play as a team. They're a team unit. There's no Zlatan Ibrahimovic this time. There are 11 players that no one might be familiar with. Emil Forsberg from Leipzig, one name that people may know, but not much otherwise. No star quality. If Messi had been talking about Sweden, he'd be right. However, I think when the best player leaves a lineup, the other players lift as a group. And sometimes it has a beautiful result. And I think that's what's happened with Sweden. They're very hard to break down. We're seeing 0-0s, 1-0s in their last few games, but they're very hard to break down as a group, and they break and attack as a unit in the counter. It's very good to see, and I think Sweden will be tough to beat in set pieces. They're a very tall side. They will attack and score goals. I particularly look forward to seeing them playing Mexico, who appear to be vulnerable to set pieces. Speaking of which, Mexico have made the second round of every World Cup since 1990. Ever present in the knockout stages. They top CONCACAF. They're the pride of CONCACAF, the best team. They're the best hope for CONCACAF to go through to the second round. They will want to see a team after earning hosting rights for 2026. We want to see a CONCACAF team in the knockout stages in this World Cup. Led by Javier Hernandez, Chicharito, Manchester United, West Ham fans, well familiar with him. Mexico, some doubts, however. A 2-0 defeat by Denmark and a very scratchy 0-0 draw with Wales leading into the tournament. Some doubts over their ability to get the ball forward, get the passes through and pierce defences. Not much going forward. They're going to struggle against some solid defences, and they're going to face that with Germany and Sweden. I wonder how Mexico can cope. However, they can't be written off. Ever present in the knockout stages, they can always find something happening. We'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. Now, the other team in the group, and I say other team because they really are the other team, it's South Korea. Now, South Korea play with a lot of fight and a lot of heart and a lot of spirit. God bless them for their ability. However, they finished behind Iran in their group. They made it through automatically. However, I think that they're looking at one key player, Son Heung-min, the Tottenham midfielder, much like Denmark with Christian Eriksen. However, unlike Denmark, South Korea don't have a lot of support for their star man, and I worry for them. And I think outside of the South Korean media, the immediate family of the players and coaching staff, ardent supporters, and a few delusional people, very few people are tipping South Korea to progress. But God bless them and all the best to them. And they may do well enough because of their fight and spirit, as they've shown in previous World Cups. I think they've got what it takes to finish in 31st ahead of Saudi Arabia. So at the end of the day, I'm going for this Germany 1, Sweden 2 controversially over Mexico because of that team cohesion. South Korea, sorry guys, number 4 this time, 4th spot. So that leaves us with the wash up for the round of 16, Brazil and Sweden. Again, I think that's the 8th time they've played. That'll be the most times two teams have played at a World Cup, 8 times. Germany and Serbia in the other round of 16 matchup. The way I'm calling it is Brazil beating Sweden. I think Sweden played just the right kind of game for Brazil. Brazil defend the set pieces very well. and I think they'll be able to find a way through the Swedish defence. Germany and Serbia, very interesting one. I'm going for the controversial pick here. I'm picking Serbia to get past Germany into the quarterfinals. I think Germany have been a little bit disjointed, haven't been playing at their best. Serbia are coming together at the right time, and I think the German dreams of getting a back-to-back World Cup will fizzle out in the round of 16 at the hands of Serbia. So that leaves us now, somewhat controversially, with 6 of our 8 quarterfinalists, and they are Spain versus France, Brazil versus someone yet to be decided in the second quarterfinal, and then we have Serbia versus an opponent yet to be decided, and Portugal versus Argentina. That rounds out my predictions for Group E and F. I'll be back again with predictions for G and H tomorrow. So thanks for tuning in. If you have any comments, disagreements, or anything otherwise, please feel free to write what you think in the comments below. And see you later. Thank you.